Across the vast landscapes of ancient America, from the arid deserts of the Southwest to the high peaks of the Andes, there existed a hidden thread connecting cultures, generations, and spiritual meaning. A legacy woven in fiber and dyed in color. Long before the arrival of Europeans, indigenous peoples mastered the science and art of textiles. They wove not only clothes and blankets, but status, belief systems, and cosmic stories into every strand. While the pyramids and earthworks often steal the spotlight, ancient American textile traditions remain one of the most overlooked technological and artistic achievements in world history. What if we told you that some cultures valued cloth more than gold? That ancient colors came not from synthetic formulas, but from bugs and bark, fermented leaves, and sacred stones. This is the untold story of the ancient textile masters of the Americas. Weaving was central to daily life and spiritual tradition. In Mesoamerica, the backstrap loom reigned supreme. It was a simple, portable device, tied to a tree on one end and the weaver's waist on the other. It required incredible dexterity, patience, and memory. In the Andean world, upright looms allowed for larger, more intricate designs. Textiles were so highly regarded in Andean civilizations like the Wari and the Inca that they were used as tribute, currency, and political tools. Clothing was a status symbol, and finely woven garments, known as kompi, were reserved for nobility. Across North America, the Puebloans wove using vertical looms, producing warm cotton robes and intricately patterned sashes. Every thread had meaning, every pattern was a code. The resources were as diverse as the landscapes. In the desert Southwest, fibers were drawn from yucca, agave, and milkweed. These stiff plants were pounded and soaked to soften their fibers, then twisted by hand or spun with spindles. In Mesoamerica and the coastal Andes, cotton thrived. In fact, cotton was domesticated in the Americas thousands of years before industrial cultivation in the Old World. On the Andean highlands, where it was too cold for cotton, people used alpaca and llama wool. Soft, warm, and ideal for mountain life. In the Great Lakes and northeastern woodlands, inner bark from basswood or cedar was stripped and twisted into cord. Even buffalo hair and dog fur was sometimes spun. Each fiber required its own preparation process. Some were fermented, others dried and beaten, but all were eventually spun into thread, wound into skeins, and woven into the fabric of life. If weaving was the structure, color was the soul. Ancient dyers were master chemists, pulling vibrant hues from the natural world. The crimson red came from the crushed cochineal insect, a tiny parasite that fed on cactus. This dye became so precious that centuries later the Spanish crown prized it, second only to silver. Indigo leaves produced deep blues, but the process was complex. It required fermentation in sun-warmed pits, where bacteria transformed the green plant into blue pigment. Yellow came from marigold, sunflower, and tree bark. Walnut hulls yielded deep browns and blacks. Sumac and other tannins helped fix the dye, binding it to the fiber permanently. And it wasn't just about beauty. Colors held meaning. Red symbolized life or blood. Blue connected to sky or spirit. Each community had its own chromatic language. Patterns and colors weren't chosen randomly. They carried messages. In the Andes, geometric shapes told stories of lineage, conquest, or cosmic balance. Certain patterns could only be worn by the elite or the priesthood. In Mesoamerica, textiles featured stepped fret motifs, stylized serpents, and symbols of rain or fertility. In the southeastern U.S., the Mississippians embedded sacred geometry into their woven goods, just as they did in their mound architecture. These textiles were a second skin, proclaiming identity, origin, and allegiance. In many cases, they were also offerings to the gods, to the dead, to the ancestors. A burial would often include treasured garments or woven items, indicating that these threads transcended the physical world. Though textiles are organic and fragile, nature has preserved some extraordinary examples. In the dry caves of the American Southwest, archaeologists have uncovered thousand-year-old sandals, bags, and robes, still intact. The Andean highlands, with their cold and arid climate, have protected funeral wrappings, tunics, and headbands, with vivid color still glowing. The Paracas culture of coastal Peru created textile shrouds so detailed and bright they're considered masterpieces of ancient world art. These finds reveal a staggering level of skill, comparable to Renaissance tapestries or Persian carpets, but created centuries earlier and without the wheel, without metal tools, and often without writing. The textile itself was the message. Today, indigenous artists are reviving these traditions, not as museum relics, but as living culture. Navajo weavers, Mayan artisans, Quechua elders, they're preserving the techniques, stories, and meanings once nearly lost to colonization. Each woven belt or dyed shawl is an act of resistance, memory, and identity. Modern science is also catching up, studying these textiles to learn about ancient trade networks, plant domestication, and even weather patterns encoded in ritual designs. Threads that once clothed kings, wrapped the dead, and adorned temples are still with us, woven into new generations, new hands, new hopes. The story of ancient American textiles is not only one of forgotten genius, it is one of resilience and return. These are not just fabrics, they are maps of memory. They are sacred threads of a continent.